السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear student, today inshallah we're going to start a new chapter, the cartilage, which is a type of connective tissue in which the matrix is rigid. By definition, what the meaning of cartilage? It is a type of connective tissue in which the matrix is rigid and flexible. Why it is rigid or flexible? In order to be uh, uh, can bear a mechanical stress. The cartilage is formed of cells, fibers, and matrix. They are widely separated with intercellular material which is called the matrix, and this wide space helps us to work as a bearing mechanical stress. The cartilage is avascular and takes its nutrition from the surrounding. Why the cartilage is avascular? As if injury occur in the cartilage and if it's avascular, the blood tear occurs in the blood vessel and this will lead by fibrosis. So the matrix changes characters from being rigid and flexible to be hard. So the cartilage will lose its function. That's why the cartilage is avascular and does not have lymph vessels. The cartilage usually covered with perichondrium. As we said that the cartilage is avascular and take its nutrition from the pericardium. So why it's called usually, not always, because some of the cartilage type does not surrounded with perichondrium, as we're going to see a few minutes later. The cartilage is formed of cells known as chondroplast, chondrocyte, matrix, fibers, either elastic, collagen type 2 or collagen type 1. The word plast, P-L-A-S-T-S, after the chondro means young. Cyte means mature. The fibers differ according to the type of the cartilage, as we're going to see later. The types of the cartilage, we have three types, according to the abundance types and fibers as well as the ground substance in between. We have either the hyaline cartilage, which is the most common in our body, yellow elastic cartilage, and from its name you know that the elastic fibers are predominate there, and white fibrocartilage, in which the white fibrous collagens are predominate in this type of cartilage. This is a diagrammatic picture of hyaline cartilage. As you can see here, it is surrounded with the perichondrium that is formed of outer fibrous layer and inner chondrogenic layer. The outer fibrous layer is formed of collagen type 1, and this is important for muscle attachment. The collagen type 1 is synthesized by the fibroblast, and it contains blood vessel that will make nutrition of the cartilage. The inner chondrogenic that give rise to chondroplast, and the chondroplast form a matrix, so increasing the thickness of the cartilage from outside means appositional growth. Here are the chondroplast, then change into chondrocyte after it forms the matrix surrounded by a capsule. Inside the capsule, the chondrocyte become more mature and can divide, forming what's so-called cell nest. In between the chondrocyte here is the matrix. The perichondrium is formed of two separate layers, which are the outer fibrous layer that contain collagen type 1 secreted by the fibroblast and containing blood vessels, as the cartilage is avascular. The inner chondrogenic layer, which supply us with the chondroplast, so it is important for appositional growth. How the perichondrium adapted to do its function? The collagen fiber give muscle attachment, blood vessel make nutrition to the cartilage, the inner chondrogenic change into chondroplast, and the chondroplast form new cartilage, and this is called appositional growth. This is a light microscopic picture of the hyaline cartilage. You can see here that the perichondrium is formed of outer fibrous layer and inner chondrogenic layer. The inner chondrogenic layer changed into chondroplast, and the chondroplast, when become mature, changed into chondrocyte. The chondroblast arises from the chondrogenic cell, which arises from the undifferentiated mesenchymal cell. It's present near its mother, so it's present near the perichondrium. It is a protein-producing cell, as it will form the fibers and the matrix, so it is protein-producing cell, so it is deep basophilic. The nucleus is pale with prominent nucleoli. Features of protein-forming cell by EM, which are the rough endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, and achromatic nucleus. The chondroblast form the collagen fiber type 2 and produce the matrix. When it divides, it adds cartilage from outside, increasing the thickness of the cartilage, and this is known as appositional growth. When the chondroblast becomes mature, it changes its name to be chondrocyte. Here, the matrix surrounds the chondrocyte with a thickened matrix known as the capsule. Shrinkage of the chondrocyte during fixation, a space appears known as lacuna between the chondrocyte and the matrix. The mature cell develops from the chondroblast and present inside capsule surrounded with lacuna. By light microscope, it is less basophilic with central nucleus, less organelles than the chondroblast, as it is less active than the chondroblast. It just maintains the matrix. The superficial cells are flat or oval. The deeper the cell, they become more enlarged and appears vacuolated due to accumulation of glycogen and lipid that will disappear while staining with hematoxylin and eosine. The cell can divide, give what's called cell nest. YEM feature of protein-producing cell but less active than the chondroblast. The function is to maintain the cartilage matrix. Don't forget by EM, RER, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, and achromatic nucleus, but less than the chondroblast, and don't forget that it contained lipid droplet and glycogen. This is an EM picture of the chondroblast. You can see here the achromatic nucleus and the profiles of the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and this is the matrix. Fibers present in the hyaline cartilage is collagen type 2. It cannot be seen in the light microscopic picture because it is very thin and has the same refractive index as the matrix. What do I mean by same refractive index? If you can see here this a whiteboard, if I can put a white dot in the whiteboard, you cannot differentiate the dot from the board. Why? Because it had the same refractive index. The matrix is formed of proteins and carbohydrates. They are something called protoglycan and glycoprotein combination of carbohydrates and proteins of different proportionate and water. It appears homogeneous and transparent basophilic. Where could I find the hyaline cartilage? While studying the site of hyaline cartilage, you should understand the function. The hyaline cartilage present in the fetal skeleton. Why? As the fetus inside the uterus, the skeleton is flexed in order to accommodate itself in the uterus. This due to the flexibility of the collagen, the hyaline cartilage, which is present in the fetal skeleton. Epiphyseal plate of a long bone. You know that the epiphyseal plate is the metaphysis which is present between the epiphysis and diaphysis. That's important for the growth of the cartilage. Growing of the cartilage then replaced by bone in ossification. Costal cartilage, you know that the costal cartilage and the rib form the thoracic cage that protect the heart and lung. Articular surface of the joint to have smooth surface. respiratory passages to keep the respiratory passage patent all the time. The functions of the hyaline cartilage: support soft tissue and give tissue attachment as the heart and the lung, tissue attachment, a muscle, the tendon attached to it, keep airway patent at that present in the trachea and the bronchus, smooth surface for the joints in order to have free movement, development and growth of the bone as it's present in the epiphyseal plate. Erosion in the articular cartilage cause what's so-called arthritic degeneration, disabled movement of the joint. This is a diagrammatic picture of another type of a cartilage known as yellow elastic cartilage. Dear student, look here and see the difference between this photo from the hyaline cartilage. What are the similarities and what are the difference? The similarities: both are surrounded with perichondrium. Both contain chondroplast and chondrocyte. The difference here, I can see fibers which are the yellow elastic fibers. As you can see here, the matrix is less and the cell nest is less than that of the hyaline cartilage. Yellow elastic cartilage. Yellow in the fresh state. The structure is similar to that of the hyaline cartilage, but few collagen type 2 and many elastic fibers. And the matrix is less. Where could I find the elastic cartilage? Remember the letter E. Ear pinna, Eustachian tube, epiglottis, and external auditory canal. As you can see, dear students, the site here, this is the external ear, okay, external auditory canal. This is the eardrum, this is the middle ear, and this is the Eustachian tube. This is ear pinna, this is Eustachian tube, and this is the external auditory canal. All of them formed of elastic cartilage. While the epiglottis, this epiglottis is very important during swallowing. It closes the trachea in order food pass to the esophagus. What is the function of the yellow elastic cartilage? Is important for flexibility. Here is a light microscopic picture showing the yellow elastic cartilage. These are the elastic fibers, and these are the chondrocytes, and the matrix is less than that of the hyaline cartilage. The last type of cartilage you can see here is the white fibrocartilage. As you can see here, it is not surrounded with perichondrium. The chondrocytes are present in rows. Between the chondrocytes there is bundles of collagen fiber type 1. You can see that the matrix is scanty. So, dear students, look again to the white fibrocartilage. You cannot see the perichondrium. The matrix is scanty and the chondrocytes are present in row. In between the rows of the chondrocytes, there are bundles of collagen type 1. So, again, this is the diagrammatic picture. These are the chondrocytes and this is the collagen fiber type 1. It is not surrounded with perichondrium. It is tough to give. It's very important for bone-to-bone attachment and no motion is required at that joint. It's formed of dense bundles of collagen fiber type 1, the chondrocytes present inside lacuna, separated by scanty matrix. Where could I find the white fibrocartilage? As I told you, at a junction, bone-to-bone junction, in which movement is not required at all. Where I can find this? Mandibular joint, sternoclavicular joint, intervertebral disc, and in the symphysis pubis. As you can see, dear students, mandibular joint, the mandibular joint, sternoclavicular joint, this is the sternum, and this is the clavicle. What are we talking here is the sternoclavicular joint. Intervertebral disc, this is a disc. This is a vertebrae, excuse me, and this is another vertebrae, okay? And this is the intervertebral disc. This is the pelvis. And this is the symphysis pubis. All these sites, no movement cannot happen between the bones. You, a physiotherapist, you should know what happened if something wrong happens in the intervertebral disc. The intervertebral disc present between two adjacent vertebrae, and it is formed of outer fibrous layer, which is the fibrocartilage called the annulus fibrosus, that surround a jelly-like substance called the nucleus bulbosus. What the meaning of disc prolapse, herniation, cut occur in the annulus fibrosus, and the nucleus bulbosus herniate from the annulus fibrosus and cause severe pain. As you can see here, this is the spinal cord and these are the nerves. Herniation of the nucleus bulbosus from the annulus fibrosus leads to compression on nerve. Again, this is white fibrocartilage. You can see here the bundles of collagen type 1, and these are the chondrocytes present in row. It's important for strong and tough to resist tensile stress in which bone to bone attached to limit the mobility of the bone. Growth of the cartilage either increase in length by interstitial growth, and this is by the action of the chondrocyte. Appositional growth increase in thickness, and this is the action of the inner chondrogenic and the chondroplast. Form a new cartilage on the surface. This is hyaline cartilage. Here is the perichondrium, and here are the chondrocytes, and this is the matrix. I cannot see any fiber. Here is the high power for the chondrocytes that I can see, and there is a cell nest, and this is the matrix. Here is the yellow elastic cartilage. In the ear pin, this is the skin and this is the cartilage. This is the perichondrium, and here are the chondrocytes. Yellow elastic cartilage, these are the elastic fibers. This is a diagrammatic picture of white fibrocartilage. You can see the collagen fibers, and these are the chondrocytes present in row and minimal amount of matrix. Again, this is white fibrocartilage. Again, white fibrocartilage. Chondrocytes arranged in row, between them is the bundles of collagen fibers. The practical slides here of the cartilage. This is an LM picture of the hyaline cartilage. You can see here that the cartilage is surrounded with perichondrium. Here the chondrogenic cells, and here is the chondrocytes. Here are the cell nest, and this is the matrix. Elastic cartilage, here the chondrocytes, and here are the elastic fibers. This is high magnification of the hyaline cartilage. You can see cell nest, chondrocytes, and cell nest. Here you can see elastic fibers and chondrocyte in yellow elastic fibrocartilage. This is diagram showing. This is the diagram showing the perichondrium, the chondroplast, the matrix, chondrocyte, lacuna, and cell nest. Here is an diagram showing the yellow elastic cartilage. You can see the elastic fiber chondrocytes.